Welcome back for another video. 8 game weeks, that's all we've got left and the season's over. So it's the crunch time part of the season and good planning will give you an edge. So this video is to guide you through the remainder of the season, including the remaining double game weeks, where they might fall and chip strategy. So let's start with the postponements, and 14 teams currently have postponements to be rescheduled, 6 teams don't. A postponement here means a guaranteed double game week, and in Aston Villa, Chelsea, Everton and Leicester's case they've got 2 postponements. These are the teams to pay particular attention to, as double game weeks always have the highest upside, and a huge game week score can turn a bad season on its head. If you are unhappy with how your season is going, 8 game weeks is a long time, and tons of ground to gain here. Likewise, if you're having a good season, there's potential to climb much higher. Let's take a quick look at the other competitions Premier League teams are still in. West Ham are less relevant here as they don't have any postponements. However, as you'll see on the next graphic, some of these cup competitions fall directly before double game weeks to come, so it's not always as simple as loading up on any double game week player. If we look at Chelsea, they're almost certainly out of the title race, but they're also 8 points clear of 5th place with a game in hand, so we could see them prioritise the Champions League most. Depending on how these teams progress in these competitions will dictate where their postponements can move to. Chelsea could be in a sticky situation if they reach both finals, as they've got 2 postponements and they'd only have 1 free midweek. More on that later. Let's take a look at how the remainder of the season could play out and when to use any chips we have left. It looks like there's a lot going on here, but we'll run through it week by week shortly with what you need to know. If you'd like a copy of this graphic, a link's in the description. This schedule is not set in stone, but it's a very good guidance for planning. The yellow fixtures are the only uncertainties. Those cup competitions we discussed before are all marked here in dark grey for a clearer picture of where they'll fall in each team's schedule. Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea could get knocked out of the Champions League quarter-finals, in which case the semi-finals and finals shown in this schedule would be irrelevant. They're shown here purely to paint a full picture of the scheduling. The fixtures in yellow are potential double game weeks. Those are the exact same postponements that we discussed earlier in the video, which have simply been added into the schedule. So in other words, we're looking at where the postponements will move to, and Game Week 36 and 37 are where the majority will move to. The Premier League very rarely schedule games on the same night as European football because of the broadcasting clash, which is why Game Week 36 is where we'll see a huge double game week despite some free midweeks before then. So let's run through each game week and discuss chip strategy, teams and players to consider. If you're enjoying the video so far, please consider liking it to support the channel. Game Week 31 is a very small double game week with just Burnley and Everton doubling. The only chip worth consideration here is your wildcard, if you still got it, and if your team requires it. We already know that Game Week 33 doubles and blanks, so you have the ability to prepare for that game week too. There's some players like Weghorst, Gordon, Pope who you could consider. We'll skip Game Week 32, which is a single game week, and we'll move straight to Game Week 33. Arsenal, Man United, Leicester, Southampton, Brighton, Newcastle and Burnley double here. There's no standout captain, so triple captain is best saved if you still have it. However, the free hit looks very viable. This gives you the option to hop onto players like Bruno and Ronaldo for captain, who you won't want long term. Newcastle have a double with both games at home too, so they'll have a couple of players to consider as a 1 week punt like St Maximan. Likewise, Vardy is expected to be back for Game Week 33, so he's among a few Leicester players you could pick up on a free hit. Lastly, Wolves, Aston Villa and Leeds blank this week due to Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea having their FA Cup games. Game Week 33 is also an opportunity to bench boost, but Game Week 36 or 37 look better. Game Week 34 and 35 are singles, however Burnley and Aston Villa's postponement has a chance of moving to either game week as a double for both. Likewise, if Chelsea get knocked out of the Champions League, Leeds and Chelsea could double in 34 or 35. Alternatively, if Crystal Palace knock Chelsea out of the FA Cup, then Game Week 37 becomes a free midweek for Chelsea. In terms of chips, the wildcard is the only one worth considering here. You could build a team ready for the remaining doubles and finish the season strong, with the option to bench boost if you still got it. Game Week 36 and 37 are the big ones. Free hit, bench boost and triple captain all perfectly fine to use here. If you've got multiple chips left, then make a decision once the fixtures are officially announced. We may find that chips look more logical in certain game weeks, for example bench boost in 36, free hit in 37. Or if you've still got all 3 chips left, then perhaps free hit 33, triple captain 36 and then bench boost 37. You could also be in a position where you've got no chips left to play at all, which is perfectly fine. Don't be afraid to take a hit or two in a double game week if it makes sense. Each week on this channel we will have the who to buy videos, which will help identify those players that look worth a -4. Particularly heading into Game Week 36, as some teams will have back-to-back double game weeks. Some common sense required here though, as many players won't play all the games, so avoid rotation risks unless they have huge upsides such as James. There's a very small chance of a triple Gameweek 36 for Chelsea if they reach the final of both competitions, though it's also possible that they're forced to double in 37 plus squeeze in the FA Cup final. This would be an extremely condensed schedule though, and tons of rotation likely. Lastly, we have Gameweek 38, which of course will be a single game week with all teams playing at the same time. We've seen some managers successfully use chips in Gameweek 38 before. We interviewed José earlier in the season, who won FPL back in the 2017-18 season, and he won it by using the triple captain on Salah in Gameweek 38. It's historically a very high scoring game week with many teams going out with a bang. Some teams will be relegated by then too, so there could be lower motivation and get defeated comfortably. Again, if you'd like a copy of this graphic, a link's below. And credit to Planet FPL and Adriana Bomballin for their input on the schedule. Lastly, this graphic is from Mikhail Tokvam, which defines the likely number of matches per game week per team. For example, Everton and Burnley have 2.0 in Game Week 31 because they have exactly 2 guaranteed fixtures. This graphic is useful because it depicts the likelihood of when the fixtures will move to, so it's a useful addition to the graphic before, as it includes how likely the doubles are. So the likes of Leicester and Everton are basically guaranteed to double in 36, but also almost certainly double in 37, whereas some other teams such as Chelsea and Leeds have a chance of doubling in 34 and 35 if they get knocked out of the cups, as we were saying before. You'll notice that there's a small chance of a few teams blanking in 37 too, depending on how teams fare in cup competitions. Nothing to be planning around right now, but to be mindful of. If we get a couple of blanks in 37, it might add to the appeal of free hitting, for example. That wraps up today's video, thanks for watching. If you found it useful, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. See you soon for the next one.